Nigga took a picture with Rick Ross. You like a nigga, put your back against the wall and just slide down.
Rick Ross spent years building an image of being calm and composed, but his baby mama just revealed a surprising truth behind that persona. He's actually afraid of 50 Cent, and it's far more intense than people ever realize. Imagine this: a major rap figure known for being fearless and in control is losing sleep, constantly haunted by the one rival he can't seem to shake.
Deciding to your life up. Rick, bro, I'm a your life up.
When Ross finally responded, it wasn't just about pride, it was a last-ditch effort to keep himself from being completely destroyed by 50 Cent. The damage 50 inflicted was so severe, it makes you wonder how Ross even managed to keep going.
Because Rick also has a baby mother who's currently working as a call girl. He has a daughter by Brooke.
And how did all of this chaos begin? With just one look. A cold stare at the 2008 BET Awards was all it took for Ross to decide he was ready for war with 50. But here's the twist: 50 Cent didn't even realize anything had happened.
Is there anything about Ross and his career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work with him.
Later, 50 admitted he couldn't even remember seeing Ross that night. But for Ross, that lack of recognition felt like flat-out disrespect, and in the brutal world of hip-hop, disrespect usually leads to conflict. At the time, Rick Ross was riding high.
18 years of the back and forth. If, you know, people that's been around know.
He had already released platinum albums and was living the life of a top-tier rap mogul. But that moment at the BET Awards locking eyes with 50 Cent set him off. Was it envy, insecurity, or just a need for attention? Whatever the reason, Ross made one of the riskiest choices of his career.
I'm getting that. I don't need your fucking check. It wasn't even about your check. You didn't have that when I met you. So my baby wasn't a check baby. All of the 9 or 10 kids you got now, those are check babies.
She got 10 kids now?
Oh yeah, y'all didn't know that? See, he only acknowledged toy or whatever y'all know about, whatever y'all could Google, but girl, it's about 9 or 10 sure.
He picked a fight with one of the most relentless figures in hip-hop. And let's be real, Ross had no idea what he was signing up for. The wildest part, 50 Cent never even noticed him at the awards show. That's how unfazed he was. Still, Ross didn't hold back.
Also has a baby mother who's currently working as a call girl. He has a daughter by Brooke, right there. Can you see that? This is like the adult. This is like where you can find really exclusive whores.
He saw the conflict as just another opportunity to boost his image. But he underestimated the situation. Ross thought he could ride off 50's fame, but he miscalculated badly. 50 Cent wasn't just going to respond, he was getting ready to go nuclear. Ross didn't take a subtle jab at 50 in an interview. He aimed for maximum impact.
I kicked Rick ass. Kick Rick Ross ass, right?
On his track Mafia Music, Ross made a bold reference to the fire that nearly endangered 50's ex and their child.
Say what the f you want about 50 Cent, but I swear this man's pettiness is uncanny. Like this, I feel is everybody's alter.
At first, it might have sounded like regular rap banter, but anyone paying attention knew exactly what Ross was implying. He hinted that 50 Cent was somehow involved in a very serious incident. This wasn't just a cheap shot. Ross brought up a dark and personal moment from 50's past.
I mean, it's sort of embarrassing to me, you know, because as you listen to his raps, you would definitely believe him, but I mean, it was surprising that he would sit there and say he spends $200 a month on food, $300 a month on clothes. His jury is rented.
Even Shanika Tompkins, 50's ex, publicly accused him of being responsible for the fire that burned down her home with 6 people inside. Ross shamelessly capitalized on the scandal, and 50 didn't take long to respond with force. But Ross didn't stop there.
You imagine having a parent that's, you know, been in and out, being supportive at one point and not being supportive, and you just in the middle of things. You have done nothing. Regardless of what me and Ross' issues are, He's not supposed to take that out on my son. And for years, he has been using Lil Will as a scapegoat because he know that's the only thing can hurt.
He went further, loudly claiming he had already beaten 50 and taken over the rap game before things even got serious. But here's what people often forget. If there's one thing 50 Cent excels at, it's turning rap beefs into personal battles.
He don't know where the money came from to put a down payment on a $1 million home. And, you know, it's just sad, you know, and I just want to prove the facts today here on This Is 50. It's all real.
He wasn't going to just drop another diss track. He wanted to dismantle Rick Ross piece by piece. So he started digging into Ross's past. And what he found was explosive. 50 exposed Ross's previous job as a correctional officer, and just like that, the tough guy image Ross had spent years building started to fall apart.
It's been back and forth and inconsistency with co-parenting and me being quiet and saying, screw this, let me do what I gotta do for my child. And then saying, bunk this, I'm being disrespected. Being disrespected. Love, you know what I mean? Because you can be loved all day, but being disrespected in the midst of love is one thing. You know what I'm saying? So it just got to a point to where I just said enough was enough.
This wasn't just a small embarrassment. Rick Ross had crafted his entire image around being a street-certified boss, a hardened hustler straight out of the streets. But 50 Cent had receipts. Photos of Ross in his correctional officer uniform started circulating online, completely exposing the reality behind his persona. 50 made it clear that the rapper claiming to have sold drugs was actually working behind bars filing paperwork. And 50 didn't stop there. He took things up a notch by connecting with Ross's baby mama, Tia Kemp, and she didn't hold back. Tia sat down with 50 and laid out everything she knew, revealing personal details that no one saw coming.
Child neglect with no intent to harm, battery on her, and aggravated battery to deadly weapon because she was trying to exit the gate of the development that I stayed in. And the car to make her stop, got out, we got into a fight, and I went to jail. Lil Will was in the back seat, he wasn't nothing but a year old, so they took me to jail and gave me child neglect with no intent to harm because I left him in the car to get out the car to fight.
According to Tia Kemp, Rick Ross wasn't anywhere near the powerful figure he portrayed. She hit hard claiming Ross leased his expensive cars, rented jewelry, and that his lavish lifestyle was more illusion than reality. And that wasn't even the biggest blow. Tia confirmed the rumors that Ross had worked as a corrections officer, fully supporting 50's earlier claims. But 50 wasn't done yet. He turned things all the way up. He did something Ross never could have anticipated. He treated Tia to a luxury shopping spree right in the public eye.
We finna dig up a whole bunch of motherfucking maggots right now, ho. I'm not finna play with you, you Ozempic bitch.
And to make things worse, 50 brought Ross's own son along on a high-profile Vegas trip joined by none other than Floyd Mayweather. They snapped photos together, broadcasting the moment across the internet. Ross could only stay quiet. There was no bouncing back from that kind of public humiliation. Social media erupted, with fans calling 50's actions one of the coldest moves in rap beef history. But then, 50 went too far. He released a private video involving another of Ross's baby mamas, Lastonia Leviston. That's when things took a serious turn. That video ended up costing him big. Leviston sued 50 for emotional distress and won a $5 million settlement.
Brother over there paying people to put this out. He over there paying people to put this out. And running off with his money and it's getting back to me. So now I'm finna send the feds over there to y'all motherfucking empire. See, you had the right bitch today, ho.
The lawsuit hit hard, so much so that 50 Cent had to file for bankruptcy. For the first time during this entire feud, 50 actually took a loss. Meanwhile, Ross kept releasing music, carrying on as if none of the drama had touched him. And surprisingly, fans began to move past the Officer Ricky story. It just didn't hold the same weight anymore. Time passed, and just when it seemed like the controversy had settled, Tia Kemp returned, reigniting the fire all over again. She jumped on Instagram Live and claimed Ross is still afraid of 50 Cent. Why? Because according to her, 50 still knows too much. Tia hinted that Ross is hiding serious, possibly damaging secrets that could change everything.
Go give dog a fucking hug like I said. He was on his nuts. Oh, that year. You and Callie, big fat Callie, your fat ass go out there cut your yard trying to go viral like Will with no shoes on. Boy, we know goddamn you ain't cutting nothing but a fucking tomahawk.
Then things took another turn. Old photos of Tia's 2009 Smooth magazine cover began resurfacing, and these weren't just typical throwback glamour shots. What made them stand out was the photographer, none other than 50 Cent. Ross's longtime rival was the one behind the camera, shooting Ross's baby mama like it was some avant-garde photo project. In the now viral magazine cover, Tia is seated above 50, wearing black lace panties, a sparkly sheer top, and bold red heels. 50, meanwhile, is lying on the floor, retro camera in hand, capturing it all like he's on assignment for a fashion magazine.
Like the fucking Diddy Doula parties. I'm in this. That's another thing. When is we gonna see you over there with Sean Cole?
And if that setup didn't already seem questionable, Smooth magazine added fuel to the fire with a headline that turned everything into open warfare. It read, "Where's the beef?" with a jab that couldn't be ignored. Guest editor. 50 Cent introduces Rick Ross's baby mama Tia. Not only did 50 secure her that feature, he made sure it was clear who was behind it, especially to Ross. Fast forward to today, and the tension still hasn't cooled. The latest move? Rick Ross reconnecting with Big Meech after his release from prison, a gesture that struck a nerve with 50 Cent.
Don't be scared now. No Diddy, huh? You scared now, huh? I know y'all on them tapes. Freaky I know you is. 10 churn have. It's time to show them churns now. I ain't gonna let off.
Considering 50 is the executive producer of the BMF TV series, he took it as a serious betrayal. He responded on Instagram with a shady post, a giant rat, and the caption, "I think I'm Big Meech, direct shots fired." But the caption didn't. Stop there. 50 also called out Big Meech for distancing himself from Tammy Cowens. Now, if you're not familiar with her, you're not alone. Tammy Cowens was Meech's former assistant and business partner. The twist? She allegedly switched sides and became an FBI informant just when it seemed like things couldn't get more complicated. Ross added to the mix, laughing at how bothered 50 was over a simple photo with Meech. A bold move considering the history. The back and forth hasn't slowed down, but there's someone else who enjoys calling out Rick Ross nearly as much as 50 does. Tia Kemp. Tia recently pulled Ross into the conversation around Diddy's now infamous party scandal. She suggested Ross may have been connected to the same questionable events that led to Diddy facing federal trafficking charges. She even referenced the Diddy Doula situation, further stirring the pot.
Don't talk about Miss Carol. Y'all know who Miss Carol is. You know that's behind your brother. I'm finna make sure her family sue y'all whole estate, cause that case is not closed.
Tia didn't hold back. She openly told Ross to check on your friend, mocking their past wild party behavior and the overly affectionate social media posts they used to share. And this wasn't the first time Tia had publicly criticized Ross. She had already taken to Instagram Live, calling him out for staying completely silent while disturbing allegations about Diddy continued to surface. But this wasn't just some rant. Tia brought receipts, dropping names and backing up her claims with details. She went so far as to allege that Ross wasn't just associated with questionable people, she accused him of being involved in setting up hits, and she didn't stop there. Tia hinted she's ready to go all the way and involve federal authorities. But just when it seemed like things had hit rock bottom, she took it even further. She made a shocking claim involving a murder and someone named M. Carol, heavily implying that Ross may have had some connection to her death. The internet was stunned. If there's any truth to Tia's claims, the situation just escalated from messy to something far more serious.
We're talking about Drake, girl. He got one that looked just like Drake from a Russian woman. I can't wait till he put that one out there. What you waiting on, fat bat?
So, who is Miss Carol? According to Tia Kemp, she was killed shortly after leaving her mother's house, and Tia strongly suggested the incident could be tied to Ross and his associates. She also brought up another troubling incident involving a man being shot outside a place called Black House, hinting that it too might be connected to Ross's inner circle. The accusations kept coming. Then, during an episode of Rehab Please, Tia dropped even more bombshells. But before diving into the latest drama, she clarified that she's still dealing with long-standing issues, specifically 18 years of co-parenting struggles with Rick Ross, and she's officially had enough. Tia says she's done playing nice, done staying quiet. and ready to speak the truth regardless of who gets exposed in the process. She described trying to raise their son while Ross would disappear and reappear like it was some kind of game and exhausting pattern that's gone on for years. Now, Tia's not just venting, she's revealing what she calls the real family drama. She's airing out everything, bringing forward receipts and stories she says she's been holding onto, and according to her, Ross has more children than he can keep up with. In her words, he's basically building a secret daycare at this point.
Honest with you, she's always been in our business and just not happy for her brother, and I just don't have no respect for that. You know, she know what I have done for her brother, and I've been there. You know, it's not about money, fame, or any of that. She knows that her brother has a heart for me, and she can't take that because a man has never did what her brother is doing for other women.
Then came the major revelation. Tia suggested that Ross has been hiding some serious secrets. One of the biggest, she claims he fathered a child with a Russian woman and has kept the entire situation out of the public eye. If true, that takes things to another level. But according to Tia, it's not just about Ross being a father, it's about how he's shown up for that role, or rather, how he hasn't. She says he's more invested in flaunting his status and making power plays than actually being present for his child.
Renee is in the middle of everything because she handle everything for Will. So we'll listen to a lot of things that Renee says. You get what I'm saying? Renee is a bitter person because she's never had a man to not do anything for her.
Tia even told Young Miami about a time Ross tried to send their son off to a random college in Mississippi, not because it was the best choice for him, but just so Ross could claim credit for the decision. She opened up about the emotional toll of raising a child in the public eye, especially when the other parent is a high-profile figure who disappears when it really matters. Her son is now enrolled at an HCU, but she shared a painful moment. He had to explain to classmates why his father didn't show up to his high school graduation.
Father that was there throughout the past couple years of his high school football games. Why you couldn't make it to his high school graduation? You could have stood on the other side of the auditorium.
And you think that was because of you?
Of course. You know, it's to trigger me in some certain way, make him feel a certain way.
This is the same son Ross once proudly cheered on at football games, yet he missed one of the most important days of his life. Tia pointed out that her son grew up with a father who only appeared when it suited him. That reality cut deep. She's no longer holding back. Tia says Ross uses their son to play public relations, only stepping in when it benefits his image. And it's not just Ross and her sights. Tia also called out Ross' sister, Renee. If the tension with Ross was complicated, Tia's comments about Renee take it to another level. She says Renee has been interfering in their situation from the very beginning, and Tia made it clear she has no respect for her. In Tia's words, Renee needs to stay out of their business because she's been fueling drama behind closed doors for years. Tia also alluded to a heated situation involving one of Ross' other baby mamas over a child neglect case. She didn't share every detail, but it was obvious things spiraled quickly.
He stepped down from the position, and I asked him about it. You know, of course he denied it, which his sister confirmed it and told me that he was a correction officer, and you know.
Through it all, Tia says she's been pressured to stay quiet, keep things civil, and overlook the chaos, but after nearly 2 decades, she's had enough. She revealed that Ross has tried to silence her privately, allegedly sending cease and desist letters and threatening legal action to shut her down, but Tia's not backing off. She said he can keep the threats, she's done being quiet, and by the time Ross even attempted to respond, it was already too late. Social media had connected the dots, and the narrative was turning against him, with everything coming to light. Fans started asking serious questions. Is Rick Ross hiding more than he's ever admitted? Is there something darker in his past that he doesn't want revealed? Did 50 Cent actually come out on top in this feud? Or did Ross manage to weather the storm? And the biggest question of all, why does Ross seem so afraid of 50? What does 50 know that the rest of us don't? One thing's clear, this saga isn't over. The talk hasn't died down. The secrets are still unraveling. And things, they're only getting messier. If you thought this video was intense, just wait, the next one is even more explosive. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, share it with your people, and drop a comment. Whose side are you on? Catch you in the next one. It's about to heat up even more.